morning. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation. I hope you are starting your day in a positive note, in a good way, with your right foot. And you are definitely, because you are here with us already. So that was an amazing option for this morning. Today, I have the pleasure to have here with me Anna Miller. Welcome, Anna. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Anna has an HR background. She worked for a corporate multinational for more than 15 years. She's a lifelong learner, a very creative person as well. We studied coaching together. So Anna is also a very special guest here for me. And I think sometimes Anna is like a mentor for me when I have, some questions, especially about career. She also gives me her own insights, right? Her own ideas. And I really appreciate that. And I really admire her very much. She has lived and worked in Germany, Hungary, and China. And she has now her own coaching business, consulting and coaching, Grow and Glow. She is also the APAC Managing Director of the Neuromindfulness Institute. And she will introduce a little bit more about that later. Today, she's going to be talking about the neuroscience of creativity. All right, so let's have now a look into what Monday Morning Motivation is, in case we have some new people here today with us. Monday Morning Motivation is all about starting your Monday morning, your week, in a positive note with like-minded people. We have free weekly webinars on Monday morning and also on Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. On Monday morning, 7 and 8 a.m. in English, on Wednesdays, fully in Chinese. And of course, we are a community of people that love to stay positive and just share some inspiration throughout the week. We have currently 8 WeChat groups, 1 exclusive Hangzhou group. So we have Hangzhou. We probably have here our Hangzhou ambassadors. Feel free to say hi, Chanika, Angie, Rajni. And feel free to reach out to us, to add my WeChat if you would like to join the groups, if you are not there yet. And we have our membership, Monday Morning Motivation membership. The good news is that if you are our member, you will get unlimited access to the recordings of all MMM webinars, both in English and Chinese. And you also will get exclusive discounts from our partners, whether it's amazing coaches, psychotherapists, and so on. So all sorts of services. And we also have some offline events. I'm going to talk about that very soon. And we have our 365 days of motivation workbook. So we have some amazing quotes, some journaling, some coaching, self-coaching exercises, both in Chinese and in English. And we do all of this for free, but of course, feel free to contribute to MMM, make the project grow. I was just talking to Anna that I would love to have Monday Morning Motivation in Suzhou. Let's see how this goes. And of course, feel free to just scan the QR code and contribute. We give half of the proceeds to the 1 million tree project. And we have our newest partnership with Fuzzy Kitten Volunteers. To this week, we have our Monday Morning Meow. It's Fluffy. So his name is Azul. And he has a very beautiful blue eyes. It's a girl, sorry. So you guys can have all the information through this QR code. Just feel free to scan in case you want to foster or adopt. She is in Shanghai right now. And amazing news, we are coming up with some offline events. So on the 16th of March, we will have our first 2022 offline event in Shanghai. So feel free to join us, to ask your questions, to network, have amazing food and drinks. And this is the lineup for March. I will get back to this a little bit later. Anna, the stage is yours. So I will now stop sharing my screen. Feel free to share yours and let's get started.
Okay. Give me a sec. I think you need to allow me first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot for the lovely introduction. And just for a second, really nice to meet you here again, Sophia.
Same. All right, you should be able to share the screen now.
Now I am. Thanks a lot. Great. And very warm welcome to all of you. So nice to see many people joining for this quite interesting topic, the neuroscience of creativity. I brought you a lot of content, so prime your minds to really just digest and listen to what you're hearing. I'm going to share with you the slides afterwards because there is quite some interesting new stuff there. So if you want to read through it and go deeper, later on you will get the content so that you don't need to make notes or something like that. So let's get started. Thanks a lot for your introduction, Sophia. I won't stay there for long, just letting you know I'm really happy to be in this diverse and international group because I'm also kind of a quite diverse person, having lived now or living and working in the third country, coming mostly from HR. I don't have a neuroscience background, so if you're wondering, but I'm really interested in it, especially because I saw how powerful this content is, understanding our minds better and those of others, to bring it into the leadership, HR, and also personal development space, because it really allows us to connect things in a new way and really have a bigger impact. And by combining that with mindfulness, for example, in the way of meditation or similar practices, I really see a positive impact on myself and those around me. But now let's jump into the topic. What are we going to explore? We are going to talk about creative insights, and especially also in what is happening in our brains once we have a creative insight. And most important for you as a takeaway, how can you favor those? So what can you do to get more of the creative insights? So these are the three areas we're going to cover. Now, as a starting question, because we're talking about creativity, right? How would you define creativity? Please feel free to write a few words in the chat. Don't overthink it, just what's coming up in your mind, put it there. Let's see. New ideas. Yes, exactly. What else? Generating ideas. Free expression of the soul. Yes, ability to create something new. Love that. Thinking outside of the box, new ways of doing things. Exactly. Basically, that's all, finding something new. Exactly. So how can you define creativity? This is from Wikipedia. You can find other definitions, but I think it really brings it nicely to the point. It's the ability to use our imagination to produce a novel idea or product. So it is a skill, it's an ability, so we can develop it. We need to use our imagination, so our mind, right? This is the neuroscience part. And we are creating something new. All of that we saw in your definition. So it's not only doing arts and kind of this creative stuff. Creativity can be applied in so many areas of your life, right? In problem solving, in the way how you deal with challenges with other people. So it's a really broad concept. And in order to do that, there's one key. These are creative insights. Now, what is a creative insight? These are those aha moments, right? You have where you feel like I came up with something new, different, solving a problem, bringing something to the world, or all of that. Quick question for you, and checking also in with you. In the chat, can some of you share where you usually or when you get creative insights? What's a typical situation you have such an aha moment? Sophia says while dancing. Very nice. What about the others? When do you usually have this kind of, now I have a great idea? When challenged, under pressure. That will be interesting later on to pick that up. When you're already deep in a working process, so you need to get into it. Sitting on the sofa, I love that. Yes, in the shower. Thank you, Erika. It's always coming up, the shower. Yes, a lot of creative insights are happening there. Walking in the nature, very nice, also a good one. So you already see there is some sleeping, yes, in dreams. There is some pattern behind that. Try to see it. We'll get back to that later. When needed the most, well, we all envy you. That's not always the case, Kiran. You have to tell us later how you do that. So, but first of all, before we will pick up what you mentioned, what is actually a creative insight? So what is the process running in your mind? On all the slides, you will have in the lower part the source and the studies behind. So if you want to go really deeper, you can also pick it up from there. So the first step is you want to solve something, right? You want to come up with something new. But first you need to get somehow stuck. You need to get to an impasse where you feel you're not longer progressing towards a solution. So you sat at your desk, you did heavy thinking, but somehow there's nothing more coming up. And then suddenly you have the insight, the aha moment. And what is very typical is that people cannot report the logic that enabled them to reinterpret the problem and overcome this feeling of being stuck. It's suddenly there, almost like out of nothing, right? You cannot say, how exactly did my mind come up with this? It's a very sudden event. And on top, this often occurs or is happening when you are not even aware you're thinking of the problem anymore. If we see here, under the shower, walking in nature, sleeping, dancing, knitting, running, right? It's not that you're knitting and you're thinking like, I have to come up with a creative insight, or Sophia said, I need to go dancing because I need to generate ideas, right? You're dancing and then it's coming up. So it's very unconscious. And as I said before, it's arising suddenly, and also very important, you immediately recognize the correctness of the solution or the potential of this insight, right? We know when it's a good one versus, well, good enough, but this idea, I'm not sure. We know this is a good idea. This has the potential to pick it up. So what we see here is that we are thinking on an unconscious level about the solution before we are then solving the problem with an insight or coming up with an insight. So it's something happening unconsciously. So now let's see, we understood how is the process. What is happening exactly in the brain at this moment? I brought you two aspects based on two studies from neuroscience. Overall, I have to say the brain is extremely complicated, and neuroscience is a very new and emerging field. So there's constantly new knowledge coming up, but those two pieces already help a lot to understand better what is happening. So the first, we're going to look a bit into brain waves. So our brain is constantly creating different electromagnetic waves. Could you please mute yourself? Thank you. And especially two kinds of brain waves are extremely important for this insight creation. You see that here in the chart in pink, that's the alpha brain waves, and in green, the gamma. And where you see the little yellow arrow, that's where the insight is happening. So what can you tell out of the chart? You first have a peak in alpha, so a spike, and then together with the insight, a spike in gamma. That's all you need to know or understand about this chart at the moment. Now, what does this mean, having a peak of alpha? Here, it's in a specific area of the brain, because the study was around solving verbal problems. So it's in the area which is responsible, also related to seeing and processing language. We'll see that later on. Most important, alpha brainwaves are occurring when your brain is relaxed, when you're not focusing on something particular. So this is, well, for example, relaxing, taking a shower, taking a walk, dancing, just daydreaming, all that is alpha. And as you see here, the alpha brainwaves are having a peak in an area of the brain which is responsible for perceiving things with your eyes, because this was about a visual task, so verbal problems. They had to look at something. So what is happening? The background noise in the brain is reduced, right? In that area, kind of slowing down. And then you have the peak of gamma kind of kicking in. So what is gamma about? Gamma is the brain wave which has the highest frequency amongst all brain waves. So they're very high and they're also very regular. They come when we are having flow in learning, when we are having insights, when we have really something new happening in the brain, because gamma allows to connect things in the brain which haven't been connected before. It's generating new kind of neural pathways. So you see the point, it's gamma allows new things to be combined. That's the insight. They haven't been combined before, but then these new connections are created. And here, this is in an area which is around semantic associations, because it was a verbal problem. So you need to connect new semantic different concepts to a new thing to get this insight. So main point away, first alpha, relax, allowing gamma to come and reconnect in a new way in your brain what was there before. Now, the second concept is around 3 neural networks. Our brain works in networks. So we have different networks being responsible for different tasks. Here, the ones I'm going to present, and the focus is around the topic of attention. So the first is the default mode network. This network is responsible for mind wandering. So basically, it's this relaxed state when you're just not focusing on something particular. Most of the time, our brains are in that state. Then the second, I saw the question, let's get back to them later. Please keep it, okay? Then we will finish first and then I'll get back to your questions. The second is the salience network. This network is responsible to notice things, can be either external or internal sensations or thoughts, right? Your mind wandering, and then salience is noticing something which is noteworthy and sends it to the central executive network. And this network is kind of the highest cognitive functions here. It selects information to then do something with them. Now, how is this now related to creative insights? If we start again with the default mode network, you're mind wandering and you are creating a flow of ideas based on the associations, knowledge, what you have in your memory, right? Just constantly generating ideas, but this is still on an unconscious level, somehow there in the background of your mind. But then your salience network will select noteworthy ideas when they feel like, wow, this might be interesting to look deeper, and sends this to the central executive network for assessment. And this network then is assessing if this is a relevant solution, if this is really a new creative idea. And then it's really coming into your awareness. So you see how those three networks really work together in that process. Most important now, how can you favor that, right? We understood better what is a creative insight. We understand better what is happening in the brain, but we want more of them. So I'll share with you. Here is where the mindfulness comes into the game. I brought you specifically content around meditation because there's really good studies around that. And it shows very nicely how it can help. So first, meditation brings your brain exactly in the right state for insights. Why? Because during meditation, you will create mostly alpha brain waves. And we heard, very important to have those, to have a relaxed mind with not so much mental chatter in the background to prime your mind. Plus, meditation, and that's really cool, gives us the ability to switch better between those three networks I mentioned, the default, the salience, and the central executive network. So for example, if you feel I'm always going into the mind chatter, right, the default mode network, with meditation practice, you will pick it up earlier with the salience network and get back, for example, on focus. So you can play this process or the switching between those networks more easily. On the other side, meditation allows us to improve in two different ways of thinking. That's in divergent thinking. This is when we are creating possibilities, option A, B, C, D, E, yeah, brainstorming like. And in convergent thinking, this is when we then narrow down again to evaluate and select and decide what to do. We need both, as you can see. And different meditation practices support both. Open awareness meditation allows to explore. Focused attention meditation allows to strengthen convergent thinking, narrowing down. And here one study, for example, found out they gave the task to think of as many use cases for a drone as possible. And those who meditated 10 minutes before, just 10 minutes of overall meditation, had 22% of more ideas, range of ideas, what to do with a drone. So this is exactly getting the brain into alpha and then allowing the brain to reconnect things they haven't thought before. So it's quite impressive, I think, to see that. Now, how can you favor them? Here we have the famous shower. Yeah, we had heard that before. So let's see what you can do. First step is to prime your mind. How do you do that? You first explore the problem or what you want to do with your conscious mind. This is kind of homework, right? I'm reading, I'm thinking, I'm doing my task at the desk, writing down ideas, I'm talking to others, I collect information. And then you set an intention to come up with a solution before taking a break. That's quite important. You need to tell yourself, okay, this is the problem I want to solve. I don't have a cool idea yet, but I want to get it. I write it down usually. And then you take a break. You bring your mind into the right state. Needs to be relaxed, positive, because you shouldn't be stressed, then your mind is not working well, and distraction free. How can you do that? All of that we read before. Take a walk, a shower, an afternoon nap. We also had before knitting, running, dancing, sleeping, right? All of what you mentioned, you already know this is helping. And then you can also prime your mind before sleeping. Some people are really connected to finding solutions while dreaming or before doing meditation. All of that is paving the ground for creative insight. So what you see, you cannot force your mind, but you can create the conditions for creative insights to come after you consciously thought on the problem. So this is the clue, kind of allowing this to arise based on the conditions you created. With that, I hope you are going to have a lot more wonderful aha moments. Keep your questions. I'm very quickly going to share a little bit where this cool content is coming from. and then I'm open to have a bit of a discussion with you. As I mentioned before, I'm representing the Neuromindfulness Institute here in APAC. It's a small Europe-based institute, which is really having the vision and passion to bring neuroscience and mindfulness into the leadership HR coaching space. There is an online self-course. You can become a neuromindfulness coach. It's also ICF certified. And it's self-paced, I think is really, really cool. The slides I shared with you are from that, and there's tons of great content. If you're interested, let me know. I can also give you a reduced price for this course. You can see here, the participants really love it. It's not only me. We have an excellent rating, almost 5 out of 5. And all those, it's now close to 90 who finished the course, would recommend it to others, saying that it's really a great learning experience, allows own development, but also enabling others to grow and really get new content into this area. I'll also share with you later on a few free resources we have. We have a very nice Be Well workbook where you can also work on your goals with neuroscientific and mindful practices. And we also have a short 5 days breathing challenge course online. You'll get all of that. I myself, you saw I have a quite diverse background. I'm really trying to connect HR coaching, training, upskilling around the topics also of neuroscience and mindfulness. So if you're interested in career consulting, coaching, or upskilling for yourself, but also maybe for your companies in HR consulting and those topics, feel free to get back to me. I'm always happy and excited to have a talk around that. Here,
Thank you so much. Thank you for your amazing speech, for your amazing talk. And I was just thinking, I think creativity is such an amazing thing, right? And the more we use it, the more we have, right? I feel that creativity
it's an ability,
is like a muscle that we
it
train.
Is. That's why it's an ability. It's a skill we can develop once we understand how we can kind of support that skill. You can really train it, and your mind also will learn how to come up more quickly with those insights. I love that you're saying it. Yes, we can develop this skill.
Thank you so much, Anna. Guys, the stage is now yours. Feel free to unmute yourselves. Show us your beautiful Monday morning faces. Ask your questions. Take this chance that now Anna is here with us. Jimmy is asking, how about brainstorming? Jimmy, would you like to just maybe, I don't know if Anna understood the question.
So I think a bit of background would be good, because of course brainstorming can help to generate ideas, right? It's not necessarily leading to a creative insight.
All right.
Because maybe you are not relaxed yet, or you didn't get enough information, so you're generating ideas, but it can be that there's no brilliant amongst them, or no new idea actually.
Wonderful. I don't know, iPhone. Guys, when you connect with iPhones, please make sure you change your name. Otherwise, I call you iPhone. There's no way around. He's asking, so when you relax, then reconnect new parts in your brain, you become creative?
Yes and no. So basically, in order to create creative insights, you need to first get familiar with the topic, right? This is what I said. You need to do the homework first, because your brain needs to do that based on some kind of knowledge or memories. But once you collected enough information, you know enough around that, then you relax, you set an intention, you relax, and then this is creating the basis for your brain to reconnect to connect new things, elements together, and this is the creative insight. So the elements you put down here are true, but it's not happening like that. So you still need to do the homework first, set an intention, and then also waiting for them to arise.
Yeah, great. in a way, in a certain way, it's just like law of attraction, right? So we set the intention and then we
Yes.
release, we let go, right? We send it to the universe and we let the universe work. In this case, we let our
Or
mind, our
your brain.
subconscious mind
Exactly.
work.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Guys, do you have any other question? Feel free to ask your questions now. I'm gonna now be sharing a little bit about our upcoming events, but feel free to type your questions in the meantime. So we are coming up with some, okay. Let me just open this. So we have our lineup for March over here. So next week we will have Kat. She's going to be talking about emotionally coaching children. So she is a parenting coach. We are actually coming up with a parenting course soon, so stay tuned. I will definitely let everyone know once it's over there available. We also have Adina. She's gonna be talking about 拖延症, procrastination, right? So it's gonna be in Chinese. As you know, we have webinars on Mondays and Wednesdays, Mondays in English and on Wednesdays in Chinese. So stay tuned for our upcoming webinars. And also we have good news. We have our first offline event of 2022 in Shanghai. So I will be with Janine. We're gonna be in Viva, a new Portuguese restaurant in town. We're gonna be tasting some delicious food, drinks. It's an amazing opportunity to network with cool people, and we hope to see you there. You will also have the chance to ask her as your questions, or just get in touch and share whatever you want to share with us. So it's going to be an amazing time for our beautiful community to be together. Feel free to join us. We still have the early bird prize until March 14th. So feel free to book your spot and save the date. All right. And let me just talk a little bit about our Azul. It's our newest partnership with Fuzzy Kitten Volunteers. So Azul is available to be fostered or adopted in Shanghai. Is a little girl. And this is our most recent partnership. So also feel free to scan the QR code and adopt him if you can. All right, and let me see if we have some questions. So Victoria is asking, I'm interested in the breathing challenge. Where can I find that information, please?
I'm going to share the presentation itself together with the links to those resources with all of you now following this call in all the groups. So really feel free then also adding me if you have further questions, and you will get all the information there.
Amazing. And Jimmy is also asking, how do you know you are in the aha and ama brain mood?
Yes. So basically, it's a bit difficult to explain. It's when it's happening, you know it, right? Because something novel was created. You know, wow, this is the solution I was looking for. This is this kind of unique new idea I came up with, which wasn't on the plate before. So this is how you know. Maybe you can try to remember whenever you had really cool new ideas. So probably there was a aha moment around that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anna, for your insightful answers. Thank you guys for your questions. I can see some familiar people here joining today. Good morning, Francis. Francis also from Germany. We have been working on some projects together. All right, so everyone, I wish you a beautiful Monday morning, a beautiful start of your week. So you already started in a very positive note, so keep going, and hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Bye bye, everyone. Happy Monday.
Have a lot of cool insights, and let me know once they arise. Happy to hear your story. Wonderful week ahead. Take care.
Yes, and save your date, okay? Save your date. So we are looking forward to see everyone there, all right? So have a beautiful day. Bye, everyone. Happy Monday.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.